Good morning, good evening with all the people that are attending the seminar this day. I want to thank you so very much for putting your activities aside and being with us in the last seminar of this 2025 year. For the uh, Roots and Bridges seminar in APRU, it is an immense privilege to have you in the audience and also to welcome Juan Carlos Jintiach. Juan Carlos, it's a very long time friend of mine, and we met at Universidad San Francisco de Quito, and I am very proud to say that he's part of our family in that sense. For people that know a little bit about the University of Universidad San Francisco de Quito, which is a private university in Ecuador, uh, just as it was funded, the university, they started incorporating indigenous students, and Juan Carlos was responsible, along with a friend of his from the Shuar Nation, responsible for the creation of the ethnic diversity program that nowadays brings about 700 students enrolled in the program with the scholarships and including all the nations from Ecuador. So uh, I am very happy of his existence because of him we have this amazing program at the university. And I want to thank Juan Carlos because he has always been very ready to cooperate with anything that I ask him. So, out of his very busy schedule, and you're going to know right away why he is so busy, he put aside some time to be with us tonight. So, besides the fact that Juan Carlos is an indigenous member of the Shuar Nation from the Amazon basin in Ecuador, he has been very much involved in political leadership from a very young age. And what makes him amazing is that he took that leadership outside of the country. And first, he got involved in COICA, which is an organization that runs uh, on the Amazon basin. So it represents indigenous people or a coalition of indigenous nations from the Amazon basin in general. But he didn't stop there, and he kept moving up in this ladder until he became executive secretary, and I have to read this, of the Global Alliance for Territorial Community. And rather than me trying to explain what it is, I want to tell you that what really inspires me about Juan Carlos is the fact that from this seat, he's defending the rainforests of all the world and the indigenous people that inhabit the rainforests of all the countries that have rainforests in the world. And because of this role, he was nominated for a Global Peace Prize last year, and he was second runner-up. And I think he was the person that won the prize was somebody that was defending women's rights and jihad, taking off the jihad, if everybody can recall that. So it was probably just between saving the rainforest and talking about climate change or talking about human and women's rights around the world. So it was a very heavy challenge. But with all of this that I'm telling you, the best quality of Juan Carlos is his very kind personality, very easygoing, and uh, I I would like to say humble in a very good sense because he is doing this work without any expectation in return. So, with no further ado, I'm going to leave you with Juan Carlos and remind people that you can write your questions on the chat as he's talking, and we're going to have time for question and Q&A. Gracias, Juan Carlos. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you, David, for your kind words, and good night, everyone, and good morning to all of you. For me, it's a real pleasure to be here and to share a little bit of my experience on my work. Here's one more time. My name is Juan Carlos Jintiach. I am sure indigenous from the rainforest of Amazon basin, Ecuador. I'm this moment visiting my family and my leaders here in Morona, Santiago. That's part of the province, so east from the capital, Ecuador. So because always it's important to come back and talk to leaders, family, community. So I want to, before to start this presentation dialogue, and I want to share with you, I just want to memorize people that, as I believe, as like my good friend and my brother, Professor David, he was mentioning, it's a privilege also to be delegate or to be nominated on behalf of the leaders. First of all, when we have some trust and responsibility on behalf of them. After we are going step by step. It's not easy. It's a lot of challenge, but I'm going to share tonight a little bit of my experience, but always keep in mind that I'm speaking on behalf of many leaders, women, elders, families, even people who are not contacted with this society, people not contacted, isolated people that we call the piasis. So, David, please, I'm going to start with my presentation. Okay. This coalition, the Global Alliance of Territorial Communities, was is a cosmovision, is a vision of efforts of the indigenous organizations, the more important indigenous organizations from the tropics. As you know, I am part of the Amazon Basin, COIC organization, and each organization in the 9 countries, we have a national organization, so COICA organizations, and we talk about COICA. It's a long time that we spend, but COICA works in the Amazon regions in 9 countries in South America. And then we can also move, David, please go ahead. And then we can see other organizations in Mesoamerica and the Caribbean. Here is the map. You can see, you imagine all the planet globally. So I was talking with Amazon Basin. You can see there is the COIC organization, with almost each organization has a long background. Each organization has history. Each organization has also dynamics, partners, history between, because each organization is overlapped and connected with governments. Mesoamérica and the Caribbean, Alianza Mesoamericana de Pueblos y Bosques, is from Mexico to Panama. And then we have a PIB organization, what is the articulation of the Povos Indígenas of Brazil. But this particularity is not only the Amazon region in Brazil, it's the other ecosystems, all ecosystem, Cerrado, Mata Atlántica, Amazon, also other indigenous group. And then you can see the Congo Basin, 8 countries, and Central Africa. So this Repaliac organization is the member of this big coalition that I'm mentioning. And you can move there to Asia, about this Amman organization. So particularity that we create this most important organization that member of this very tropical important area in the world. So we are overlapped and connected with 24 countries directly. We have dialogues, we have proposals that we share, but also we have dynamics and discussions, as you know. I will explain this. So this main organization, we create this coalition almost 12 years ago, and it's been a huge privilege that I've been leading this organization almost 4 years. I nominated as executive secretary on behalf of Amazon Basin, on behalf of COICA. So this platform is working in this synchron of the tropical and subtropical areas. Next, please. So particularly, what the most important is that we need to understand when we think about organization, the first grade, second levels or second grades, and also national level or regional level. COIC organization, umbrella organization, Amazon Basin is a regional level. So my community, the Shuar organization, has in the organization regions like Shuar, Riachuar, all of these groups in the Amazon, we have all governance or institutionality. Like my own federation, we almost has 67 years that we were created. So we have a long history, my organization. So the demands is something that we put in consensus, and that why our demands is coming from the territories, because each organization, each member from the COICA, each member in each country has plans of life that we call. Plans of life we have or by law or by discussions, and then each region put in the context what are priorities with it. But these 5 demands that I'm going to explain you is on in consensus that we are going to work in the international arena. So it's not easy because each region has their own struggles, their own demands, but they have their own strategic plans, their own plans of life. But it's important here is that each organization bring this and the coalition receive that. The first demand, we have land rights. We always we're hearing about our brothers and sisters and local communities, Afro descendants. If we don't have our land secure, we have a lot of problems. We will disappear, and et cetera, et cetera. So we need to protect and we need to demarcate, and that is the land rights, land tenure or land rights. After that, second demand, free, prior, informed consent. Everything has to be connected with a human rights, indigenous people rights, special declaration indigenous people rights that was in September 20, almost, that was 27 September was approved, but from that today, but recognized also ILO 169, and this has to be connected with the indigenous rights what are recognized in the constitutions. For example, in Ecuador, my own country, we have 21 collective indigenous rights, collective indigenous rights. And especially here in my country and other countries like Bolivia, we have the Mother Earth, the natural the Mother Earth rights. But everything in the connections, what the government's signatory, what the international law is recognized for indigenous people. The 3 demand is director funding. The director funding is about the big pledges announces on behalf for nature, on behalf of indigenous people. And we create a platform, Shanda, that I'm going to share with you what that means. But many of the resources was not coming to the ground. I mean, we did some studies. It was one reflected what a study was mentioned with Rainforest Norway almost 3 or 4 years ago. I was mentioning why the resources are not coming to the grassroots or with the guardians, indigenous organizations, and that was reflecting that only 1%, at least from the 100%, was going to the indigenous territories. And there's a big money, a lot of money around the world for the natural and for indigenous people and local communities, Afro descendants. So that is something that we are working on. Protection of life, is very important and crucial. I mean, we have some partners that we are working, like Global Witness, last year and recently, and there is a lot of criminalization to indigenous people. There are persecution, criminalization. They are killing us, leaders and elders, just to be fair with them and in solidarity. This is happening daily by daily in the tropics in this context. That this is very, very key topic for us. Number 5 is about the knowledge, indigenous knowledge systems that we call brothers and sisters in the tropics. And this is how, for many centuries, we are living in these beautiful, pristine areas, beautiful, pristine ecosystems. You know, the data also recognize us that the most pristine areas where are the indigenous territories. We were right holders, we are stakeholders, and we are still maintaining this place. And there is another 6 demand that I don't put here, but we are in consensus. I'm very happy to share with you. We are working very hard about, it's going to be transversal about indigenous economy, or everybody's talking about biocircular economy, economy for tropics, but we are putting this table about indigenous economy in our own territories, and this is something that I am going to work very hard and present with my leaders for the future generations, for the youth, for the kids, because there is a lot of hopes that we can do this. Next, please. So I want to share with you about the Brazzaville Congress. Brazzaville is a city in DRC, and Congo Basin, Repaliac, and Brazzaville. All the organizations made this in May 25th this year. We did our first Congress. Many of you remember that many years, I think so, the government of Brazil was trying to lead, even in trying to convene countries about present governments who are managing and controlling the most important basin forests, like Amazon Basin, also Congo Basin, and the Borneo Basin in Asia, so Indonesia. And what we did is that in consensus, we decide to get together because no many indigenous territorial or reserve areas from the indigenous people who are living in the tropics were reflecting in this big call, because in Mesoamerica, from Mexico to Panama, there are beautiful, beautiful areas managing, controlled by local communities and indigenous people, but it's not reflecting in the same level with Congo Basin, Amazon Basin, and Borneo. So we get together, and was the most important meeting for us because in behalf of the GATC, Repalea organization, Congo Basin, receive us and everyone from the regions. We present our demands, we present our concerns, and how we are going to move forward in these difficult times that the geopolitical dynamic is moving on. So important, and very proud to mention many indigenous groups, like almost 400 indigenous good, and also people who were not present, people are not contacted. They were sending messages because there are some partners, organizations, they are working for indigenous not contacted in Amazon Basin and other areas, like Papua New Guinea also. So this is the resource, and the DRC, the government, decided to lead in the COP30 with other governments, and also Lula received that document. And the next Congress, about Brazzaville Congress, that we are going to do again in 2 years later from here. That's going to be in Indonesia and Borneo Forest Basin, but it's going to lead it by AMAN organization 2027. But it's going to be an important time to measure, to evaluate what promises on behalf of this big momentous for under and a big place for the CBD, biodiversity, big place for UNFCCC, climate change, and promises, how much we are going to report. And this is a good moment it's going to be, and all of you are invited. Please, next. So very rapidly, I just want to reflect some reflections and share with you. GATC is one of the most important coalitions on behalf of indigenous organizations that we create. So there is some platforms, as you remember, many years, COP26, I remember, was led by UK in Glasgow. There was an announcement for indigenous people and local community on behalf of the philanthropy pledge for indigenous people and local community, $1.7 billion on the philanthropy that is going to be giving or sharing or work with indigenous people. From that time, we applaud and we received that. It was important, but that's why we create Shandia platform. Shandia is a indigenous platform that I'm going to share a little bit more details, but that we discovered that there's many indigenous LEDs in the world, because we are 7 regions globally, social cultural difference in this planet, millions of indigenous groups, but I'm talking on behalf of the tropics and the GATC. And as I need to mention that we are protecting almost 1 billion hectares, 1 billion hectares in our hands with titles, and still we are asking for recognition. So we, as a GATC, we were working from that time in the COP28 FCLP Forest Climate Leaders Partnership. We were invited because GATC, the organization member, was a key actor that we can help to reduce the net deforestation, So we decided to participate. From that time, we opened dialogues with governments. There is a good promises, a good work that we were working with country package, for example, how much we are going to demarcate, example, and how much we are going to follow what governments recognize us with rights, and giving us like secure or territory or demarcated territory. So after that, GATC was also participating for the new pledges that was going to be announced in this COP30 on behalf of the philanthropy group FTAG. We call the Forest Group, big NGOs. Now it's led by Ford Foundation, but they share Ford Foundation and a country donor like Germany. Before was the Christensen Foundation with UK, so they rotate their government. So FTLG, the new pledge was announced right now is 1.8 billion for indigenous people, local community. Was 1 billion more, but this is something that we are going to follow up and to see how we are going to receive. Also, it's important to mention that recently in COP30, we did a lot of impact and momentum with these 3 important pledges like FCLP, like Land Tenure, FTAG, Forest Group. And also, as you know, was launched this initiative with the TRIPLE, the Tropical Facility Forever. Was announced with Brazil organization was launched, and I think so there is an optimist number that we are invited to build this process. We are participating in construction, always on behalf of indigenous people rights, always on behalf that what we have to protect. Next, please. So again, there is some announcements that you can see there in this slide with the AAF, this initiative. 6 million are committed, and this for the 100%, 20%, 20% is going to be for indigenous people and local community. And this is important because this is 20% we are going to decide in our process of consultation, but we need to still to be building these relations and to trying to what is the best way to transfer this resource and secure this transfer, because as you know, no each country helps you or gives you the facility. So I mentioned about the new pledge, 1.8 billions, and also the communities, how much land tenure we need to demarcate in 2030. And we have a lot of work to do until 2030, or 160 million hectares for indigenous people and local community was made by. And we need to work and convene and dialogue with the governments. Next. So very brief, I want also to permit me to share what today the GATC or creation almost 3 years ago, and this GATC is growing year by year, and we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of challenge, and what we are thinking right now is that every year, GATC and the leaders, we get together. The next meeting that we are preparing, we are going to be in Panama. MPB is going to lead the governance with Repaliac from Congo Basin, from Africa. So the initiative that we are working and how we are going to project our sharing a little bit about Shandia platform, also the Indigenous Economy Initiative. But Shandia platform, why is important? Because for us was one of the demands why the resources are not coming and going to the grassroots and going to the community. So that's why we decide to create this mechanism or this platform. And we inviting other indigenous leaders to share, because especially we need to monitor, because there is a lot of intermediation, a lot of intermediary. There is a lot of bingos around the world who is taking a lot of resources. But also we need to mention here that indigenous organizations, we trust ourselves and we need to present how we can work with these resources with our own mechanism systems or indigenous led funds. So about the initiative about the economy, I was mentioning about indigenous-led economy or indigenous vision, how we are going to work in our ecosystem. This is something for the future. Next, please. Shandia platform, one more time, you can see it's a collective journey built upon the real needs and lived experience on the indigenous people, local community, territorial funds. And then you can see FTM is Fondo Mesoamericano Territorial, is leading by MPB from Mexico to Panama. You have the Nusantara Fund, who is working right now. Nusantara Fund is leading by a man organization in Indonesia. They have their own mechanism. And Podali Fund. Podali Fund is a fund indigenous from the Amazon in Brazil, but also for other indigenous groups. So Podali Fund recently, in this previous to the COP30, the Royal Foundation, leading by Prince Williams, and the Royal Foundation decide to collaborate with $8 million to Podale Fund. So that changed a little bit the narrative, how we can create this dynamic. So $8 million for Podale funds, and also recognize indigenous people who are having a lot of struggle with criminalizations and with illegal mining and also logging. So this was important that to mention here. And also IPAS Fund, what is Fondo and Solidarity Fund in all Asia. So this is the Shandia platform we create, and all these are the members, and also we invite all the Indigenous Let's Fund. Next, please. So Global Indigenous Facility for Trade. This is something important that I want to share with you because will connect the indigenous economy initiatives. There is so beautiful initiative with no many resources is happening in our territories, leading by the associations, leading by family, leading by organizations. So we will provide support for contact with investors and advocacy to develop policies, and we did a little three momentums with this Global Indigenous Facility for Trade. What as mentioned is our sixth demand is going to be approved in our assembly next year. So this platform, what is relevant, important here is that, as you know, we are under a lot of threats, and even I can share very briefly where I live in. I now in the Shoa territory, but I think so. The key is we need to monitor and to protect first the life of the people. Sometimes in some countries there is no warranties. When you denounce, next day you can be dead. I mean, you're persecuted. Sometimes a lot of corruption. So one of the examples in Napo province, where I am part of some networks and families that we want to protect, but there is a lot of irregularities. Some countries, not only my country, many countries. So that is why we need to call in solidarity that we cannot do this alone. So next, please. So in all territories, this is one case, we continue facing serious threats, not only with the mining, but are destroying minute by minute, destroying the rivers, the gold is coming from the river, and also the contamination that polluted with mercury and other metals. So it's very sad. I've been trying to feel sad all to be alive because I have my family, I have my kids, because if I denounce, there is no warranty. We speak, but always when we come back in our homes, we have to manage this with a lot of precautions. It's very dangerous. It's not just denounce and denounce, because we need to protect your relatives, your family, the community, because the corruption is there, and also this is kind of modalities is being contaminated and corrupted for many of the different other actors, illegal actors. There is a greenwashing or money on behalf of the narcos, etc. So that is why, just a simple example in my country can be in many, many other countries in the tropics. So this is my solidarity and call. That is why I really believe that we can continue creating hopes. We can do science. We can do new initiatives in the or tropicals, the territories in our biodiversity. So I still dreaming. I dream a lot, and I think so that we can continue doing this. But this is something that we cannot win in this fight, but at least we can present modalities, alternatives to do things right. Next, please. So the track of the climate crisis that we believe in community-based solutions, and always there is good anachronisms in the world, and there's climate solutions, biodiversity solutions, NDCs, RED Plus, but always my point, and always bringing the table is, but don't forget about us. Don't even look at me, but think about us, because we are there. We live in the territory. We live in the community. We can be part. We are part of the solutions, and let's this build together. So this is our demand, our voice. End of the day, that we respect. We want to present. We protest, yes. Some governments and some actors say, yeah, only indigenous people only protest. No, yes, we can protect, but we have proposals, and we can make solutions. So this is something that always I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to continue presenting on behalf of these organizations. Next. So maybe very briefly, I want to mention about 5 pillars that we are trying to follow up and work and discussions that we did in some dialogues in the community, some dialogues with people who are working, touching and knowing and selling and protecting with our own chakras, with our own territory, maintaining the trees alive, maintaining the water alive. So because we think holistic, integral, we cannot separate as other institutions make water there, forest there, service ecosystem there. No, integral, holistic. This is one of the discussions that we always think, because everything is connected. So legal recognition for our ancestral lands, sustainable livelihoods. We need to maintain the equity or the equilibration, because many areas we cannot destroy. We need to protect. Can see where we can use the land and to produce or food and to medicines, and monitoring and verification capacity. That means that we also thinking about technology to use other tools or instruments, and many organizations in the Amazon basin and these organizations, they are preparing, and there's also the youth, they need to be continuing preparing this. Strengthen territory in the governance system, and also alliance at the national and international level is important. We cannot do this alone. So many of the dialogues that I do with my organizations, like I am doing visiting here in my community, is that with who we can work with the society, with the people, with the academia or indigenous other groups. We need to present what is our pressure, what is our demands. This is a lot of challenge, but we are working very hard in these pillars. Next. So again, to move forward and the legal recognitions, and this is a key, and that's why many governments, they promises us, like the COP30, like Lula government was announced some titles that they are going to giving back to indigenous people and protect. So this is important for us, because we need to continue develop and practicing on governance and or institutionality, how we can move forward. Next, please. Well, sustainable livelihoods, as you know, I'm very proud to be part when I have sometimes free. Sometimes in my agenda is very complicated, but sometimes when I'm free, I have my own chakra, my own. I will work. I am in the territory. I have my own guayusa, my own cacao, my own plantains. This is some products that I am working very hard with some initiatives and some organizations groups that I want to work with products. Especially for this group on livelihoods, Jintiach is trying to give a second chance that what some lands that been erosioned or destroyed, even by illegal logging or illegal mining. But we are trying to recover and give opportunity to the land and the biodiversity to recover. So with agroforestry, with products from the agriculture and other from the products from our own land. Next. So technology is important. I think so. The youth they have to monitor in capacity what technology we need. So this is something that we also in discussions, but it's something that have to monitor our territories because sometimes it's very dangerous to walk in the territories. It's very long and dangerous, but we need to protect and we have to use instruments in a good way and well direction. Next. Well, the strengthening governance or organization, always I am the person who is going to support the dialogue, the governance, how my leaders present the proposals, the challenges, what problems we have in the regions, what problems has each organization, because we have to, or the unity is the core. The dialogue is the core and the trust that you give to the leaders. So I one of the person that I believe in the to support our own governance or institutionality. When you support this, we can think the generations who are coming on behalf, who is going to lead this organization. Next. In COP30 that I was participating, that was in the most important place, and many indigenous families, leaders, they were coming, civil society, academia, governments. So for me, it was special because it was in the Amazon. Always when I love to live in the rivers because I grew up in the rivers. So where is this river going down? So straight in the Amazon, and the Amazon is an encounter to the Atlantic. So in Belén or Pará. So we have many dialogues. We have our indigenous place, COP, COP for the Povos, indigenous from the Green Zone, where we were participating. Partners were there. So important that no everybody can be behind or left. Everybody needs information. So this is the challenge. Because sometimes there's people who doesn't like to be participating in COVID. That's right. We respect that. But also there's leaders who participate in these levels or this kind of arena and this kind blue zone, for example. It's no everybody is accredited to participate. Sometimes there are meetings that are in the closed door, meetings who only governments can participate. But in my experience, I've been seeing that some governments try to invite indigenous leaders on behalf of the governments. They use the pledge like party overflow, but you can participate, but not full it like a government because these arrangements, international arrangements, belongs to the governments. We as civil society, now we are recognized as constitutes focal points, and we can participate. So alliance is very important, I believe, to work in partners because we need to prepare ourselves. We need to understand the information. We need to know how is going to be the language, the negotiations, because there are many different topics. As you know, you've been reading now. Some people, they don't like it. Some people, they have their opinions on the organization. They say, yeah, this scope was not what expected. We respect that. We respect all the opinions, but we as indigenous people, we have our opinions with different regions and GATC. I can see so far that I'm not 100% happy, but still we have a lot of things to do, but we have a lot of things to follow up and keep working. Next. So to finalize my last point, I think so it's my last point. We need your support to continue building our own initiatives, and I want to connect the introduction words that my good friend and Professor David was inviting me. Always I have a dreams for the generations, for the kids who are on the behind, and for my organizations, and also to mention that still We need to disseminate this the call urgent, the call immediately that we need to do actions in this moment. For my pleasure to be sharing these slides very briefly and trying to summarize, and I'm very happy to be here and to answer some questions that you have. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. It was a really amazing talk. I want to applaud like people are doing already. So I'm waiting. Give me just 1 second. I'm checking to see if there's questions. If we don't have any questions right now, I have a question for you. We are not so young anymore, and I think there's no comparison between the kind of fighting that you've been doing to save the rainforest versus the fight that I've been doing. And sometimes it feels like we're not moving in the right direction, that we're not accomplishing what we want to save the rainforest, to save the people from the rainforest, and to save the biodiversity. Um, do do you how do you give us hope back with the work that you're doing?
Thank you, David, for your question. And I just want to share, and I'm going to go back to your question, but I want to share a little bit um, with my own experience when, uh, as Indigenous Shuar member, or as a Shuar part of this culture, or member from the Indigenous family in Amazon Basin. So it's a you have a dreams, because when you grow up in the community, you listen your elders, you listen family, you listen the forest, because you have to walk in the forest, you have to grow up with that. And that's what I've been doing from when I was a child. So always I was looking the star, I was dreaming, I was listening the memories, the stories of my fathers, politics. And I grew up and I was saying, I would like to lead one day a COIC organization when I was a youth. So, because I saw my leaders traveling, I saw my leaders going to even the capital. So each region has their own challenge. So, but when you begin to walk, you meet people. You meet people who say, and I have good memories. And when I arrived to the school, I have a good memories when I begin to rap, because there is good people in this world. Also, there are bad people. But I memorize to the leaders who is helping you, is giving some words that we don't have to lose who we are, where are you coming from, who is your family, who are your roots. So there are some beautiful words from elders from Indonesia say, Juanca, I saw you and I see you the roots, your roots, or our roots. So, and then how we can share and how we can move forward. So always when you keep walking and then you grow up, you're going to school, you're going to university, challenges, as you know, we all experience, I meet you, I meet other professors who is giving me advice and help, and I memorize to remember my own elders and also people who you meet in this path. Not only bad people, only good people. And then my message, answer your question, is that what you were given in your momentum as a professor or as educator, as a friend. So we create that, and then many of my relations that I am building here to participate in the international arena, I meet good people, but with a lot of work to do. But some of them, they have difficulties to make a decision, because they respond to government, they respond, but they say they help you, they listen to you. So in this context, I think so that everyone is important. in the corners or in your specialty that you are going to lead, or you are working as educator, or you are research or scientific, trying to connect with a person, try to listen, because sometimes even if you don't observe, we just see but don't observe. I mean, this is many dynamics that we can it's not just talking, it's talking and processing and listening because I feel it, and then I trust you. And then I make my adjustment, because some people can use it. Many stories in the bad way. I mean, indigenous people being used, indigenous organization being used, or and for bad circumstance. But I think so. The generations coming has a lot of challenge, and for everyone. And that's why one more time, we cannot do this alone, David. This is something that we need to put all minds together, brainstorm together, multi-diverse, and this is more rich, and good people can do beautiful things. The energy you put, we can transform this. Even that I feel tired sometimes, disappointed, yes. But remember friends like you or others, we keep going, because we can know, and we don't have another place to escape. We have only this place, and maybe other people trying to go to different planets, but let them alone. But we have this planet, and we know what is going on. We have the data. You know the data. So we need to transform this together.
Thank you, Juan Carlos, and I'm sorry, but we're going to have to stop right now. It's getting close to the end. At the same time, I want to welcome Adrian Little, our head and director, who has some words for us on this last meeting for 2025.
Thank you
Hola,
much,
Adrian.
very much, David. Thank you. And thank you to Juan Carlos for such a stimulating and provocative talk, and something that I think is genuinely inspirational work. So congratulations to you for everything you're doing, but also thank you for sharing it with us. I'd like to reiterate that we do really want feedback on the seminar series. We want to keep building it. We want to look at different formats, and it's really significant that we get your contributions, everyone, so that we can build the best series that we can in 2026. So I'd like to thank the audience for their participation, and put on the record the thanks to everyone who's taken part in the series this year, and encourage everyone to keep participating and to suggest speakers so that we can develop a really exciting program for next year. And lastly, I'd like to thank the double act of David and David. Without whom this just wouldn't happen. So David Romo has done a wonderful job in sharing last year and this year, and I hope he continues to do so, because he's such a great presenter for this program, and all the significant work that goes on in the background from David Kimbayo. It's really fantastic, and his commitment, along with Adriana Rojas, to the network has been magnificent, and the seminar series is such an important part of the network's existence and continuity. So I'd like to really express my sincere thanks to them for all the work that they do. And with that, I think we're wrapping up for 2025. It's been a great season of presentations, really engaging, and I look forward to seeing you all in 2026. Thank you.